Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. El Stevo here. Hope you're all good out there. I'm very good myself. It's Saturday morning. It's a gloomy winter's day outside here in the UK. It's around 11:30 and I am just going to bring you my review of the latest episode of Clarkson, Hammond and May's The Grand Tour. This episode is called Opera, Arts and Donuts, aka The Return Home, and it was very much back to basics. It was Clarkson, Hammond and May doing what they do best, and that was having a classic road trip through an idyllic country and getting up to hijinks. They moved away from the action B-movie style stuff they did in Jordan the previous week, which I thought was an absolute bonus. I still don't think they're hitting the nail on the head with Celebrity Brain Crash. I'm not quite sure what that's all about. But other than that, this was a really good episode. I'm liking the Conversation Street part of the show. Hammond was in full all-out prankster jokester mode this week. Some of the stuff him and Clarkson came up with was pretty funny. And when I thought one of the funniest bits was when James May was lowering the roof of his Rolls Royce, and I can't remember, is it Rolls Royce Dawn? And he was lowering the roof, and Richard Hammond was reading the instructions, and he was like, "Yeah, it's for people that." And Clarkson was like, "What?" And he was like seatbelts. So it's basically for wankers. And then Clarkson goes, "Have you got your seatbelt on, James?" So that was kind of funny. But obviously they were driving through one of my favourite countries in the world, Italy. I live there. I've spent a lot of time in Italy. It's a beautiful country. Yeah, Clarkson. It was originally going to be Clarkson and May, and Clarkson had the beautiful DB11 Aston Martin. As I said, James May had the Rolls Royce, and then they were going on a tour of culture and just basically fine wine, fine foods and arts. And then of course Hammond shows up in the Dodge Hellcat, and damn, that is some car. That is if you like your American muscle cars and you like your American like proper hardcore fucking gas guzzlers, then the Hellcat is probably the car for you. But as of course Clarkson said, it's based on a German taxi. It's based on an old Mercedes, a 20-year-old Mercedes at that. What followed was their road trip through Italy. Hammond absolutely annoying the shit out of James May at every opportunity. Obviously it's very scripted at this point, but it's really funny. And when Hammond was doing his donuts at the top of the hill in Florence, overlooking the Duomo and all the bridges in Florence, it was really cool. They like I said at the start of the video, they really went back to basics in this one. I don't know, Clarkson, the tent was based in Whitby. Clarkson just seemed really at home, like he was really pleased to be back in Britain. They all did. And the view out of the tent was pretty amazing across Whitby Port. I don't know whether they're setting up the window of that tent for the views it has just purely for the 5-second celebrity brain crash bit, but in this case it really worked. The crowd were absolutely alive. When they first entered, it was like a bloody football ground. It was that loud, and it was really loud cheering. Clarkson he went easy on the jokes this week. Last week there was like obviously the Pistorius jokes and South African jokes. This week there was a joke about fish and chips and some jokes about coal, but apart from that it was very joke light, which is good because last week it was really scripted. But it worked so much better this week, the show in general. But they seemed much more comfortable when they're trying to do all that B-movie crap, and James May shooting an actor that plays the Queen. Last week it was tolerable, but it all seemed rather pointless. if you like me and like most people, you watch this show to watch them dick about in cars. You don't watch them to be characters in Call of Duty and fulfill their midlife like crisis fantasies, really. Obviously they're kind of doing that with the cars anyway, but with the shooting and the action sequences, it just didn't work last week. And I was really, really pleased to see episode 3 go back to what they do best, really. And that was showcase cars that none of us will ever have, and show the good side. The track piece was pretty cool. I like how Hammond kept ramming home the point that the DB11 was 100 grand more than the Dodge Hellcat, and literally for 0.2 of a second and for 1 mile an hour. So yeah, you'd probably buy it. Well, obviously over the years it probably won't be good value for money when, if he's going at full power with his foot to the floor, he will eat through a full tank of petrol in 18.3 miles, and he was getting 6 miles to the gallon. So obviously very impractical. He had 2 lorries just to fit tyres, but that kind of fitted into the joke of the episode because obviously he was doing donuts absolutely everywhere. The painting of Hammond was pretty cool as well. And also the scene with the rent-a-crowd in Vicenza was pretty cool. That's pretty much my recap of this week's The Grand Tour, guys. It was really, really refreshing episode after last week. I think last week they just needed to get that out of their system, really. They had the freedom from the BBC, etc, etc, which I went over in episode 1. So they wanted to do stuff that the BBC would never let them, and they finally had the budget for. So I understand why they did that. But this week it was nice to get back to basics, back on the road, 3 cars, them 3, having a laugh, great shots. It's absolutely stunningly shot as always. Hella funny. All this talk about them not liking each other in the Daily Mail and whatnot, it's complete bullshit. They clearly get on, otherwise they wouldn't be able to make shows of this quality. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me, guys. I will be back Monday for Westworld. Just to let any new viewers out there know and subscribers, the channel is currently running a competition. Westworld, you can win a Westworld Season 1 DVD Blu-ray free of charge from myself. All you have to do is be a subscriber of my channel. When it arrives, I'm getting a free copy of it. When it arrives here, I will pick 1 lucky subscriber to win that copy, and I will draw it on video and I will post it out that very same day to 1 lucky winner. So all you've got to do is press that subscribe button to be in with a chance of that. Please like, share and subscribe my videos. It's been a bit of a slow week for me personally. I had a lot of, over the last 2 or 3 weeks, my youngest daughter has been really, really poorly, in and out of hospital, and it's been a really, really rough ride. So I just want to thank all my fans for sticking with me, all my subscribers for sticking with me this last week, where the content has been dribs and drabs. Hopefully on Monday it will get back to my regular schedule. I'm going to rewrite my description box because that's not in line with what I'm doing now. I've got big plans, guys, so please stick with me. I'm by no means forgetting about YouTube and all that. It's just been a really tough 2 or 3 weeks. But that being said, this is El Stevo. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys. Catch you on Monday for my review of the Bicameral Mind, and love to you all. Peace.